And with that, we welcome you into our Coronavirus in Ohio special.
The Buckeye State is our focus here for the next hour, so let us start right there. Governor Mike DeWine is encouraging everyone across the entire state to wear a face mask. They are currently required for people who live in Montgomery and 18 other counties. And there are now travel restrictions for Ohioans. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have added Ohio to their travel advisory list. That means anyone from here traveling there must quarantine for 14 days. This, as we see another jump in cases here at home. Today, there were nearly 1,300 reported new cases, pushing our 3-week average now to near 1,100 new reported cases per day.
And here is the updated advisory map released today. 19 counties are now considered a red level 3. That's 7 more counties than last week. The only county in our area considered high risk is Montgomery County. Any person in a county listed in red on this map is required to wear a mask in public.
And developing this evening, at least 50 teens are now at risk for COVID-19. Montgomery County Public Health says a 2-day party in Miamisburg is possibly the source. They say dozens of kids were at the party July 11th and 12th, and one person was known to have had COVID-19 at the time. So Public Health is now asking all those party goers to contact their department to help with the contact tracing that now needs to be done. Joining us now live to talk about that and more, we welcome in Governor Mike DeWine. Governor, you had a busy day. Appreciate you making time for us. In your address,
thank you very much.
Thank you. In your address last night, you quoted Dr. Redfield, the head of the CDC, as saying if every American wore a mask for the next 6 weeks, we could, quote, drive this virus into the ground. So if that is indeed the path back to normal, why, Mike, are you at this point simply asking but not requiring all Ohioans to wear a mask?
Well, 60% of Ohioans, as of tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, will be under the order to wear a mask. So we're certainly moving in that direction. We established this red criteria when you got to be a red county, that would show that really there was a huge problem. I have found that, you know, as much as you can ask people to do things, it's better than if you're telling them to do it, because ultimately it's going to be up to people what they end up doing. And it's not just the masks. The masks are very, very important, and we urge everybody in Ohio to wear a mask. But it's also, frankly, just what people do. I mean, I was on the phone today with the health director in Montgomery County and all other counties across the state. And I asked them, okay, what are you seeing out there? Where are people getting infected? And no surprises, you know, bars were certainly mentioned, but just large gatherings, neighborhood events that people were getting together, people getting in their backyard. One person said, one health director said, you know, 150 people in somebody's backyard. So we've got to stop doing things that just don't make any sense. And it's ultimately not what I order or what the health department orders, because look, I can't be everywhere. The health department can't be everywhere. We've just got to look at this, all of us collectively, as that we're facing a big enemy. And this enemy can only get us if we allow it to get us. It can only move from one person to another if we allow it to do that. So the social distancing that we've talked about so much, wearing the mask, just being careful. You know, we have to learn to live with this virus. Until we get a vaccine, we're going to have to learn, you know, we're going to have to be living with it. And we don't want to see our economy destroyed. We want to see people be able to work. But on the other hand, we just can't do things that just don't make sense. And so it ultimately comes down to what we all do. And the reason I took time on prime time last night during the news hour to talk to the people across the state of Ohio was not to issue more orders. There may be more in the future, certainly, but rather to make a personal appeal. I'm looking at these numbers. I'm seeing what's happened. I'm talking to the best people we can talk to, not only in Ohio, but across this country. And if we do not want Ohio to become Florida, we've got to take action now. If you look at where Florida was, excuse me, if you look at where Florida was a month ago, that's where Ohio is today. Almost identical situation. So this could turn out to be Florida if we don't get a hold of the situation. And the numbers are just going virtually everywhere the wrong way, particularly in those counties that we've labeled as the red counties.
Governor, you mentioned the economy. It's obvious people in your party and the business community want to keep the economy open. But what kind of conversations are you having with the Department of Health about another shutdown?
Well, we're looking at all kinds of options. Last thing we want to do is a shutdown. And the message that I tried to convey to the voters last night, the people of the state of Ohio, whether they vote or don't vote, but the people of Ohio, is that we control this in our hands. We control our future. Everybody wants to see kids back in school in the fall. Everyone wants to see businesses stay open and people be able to have jobs. You know, a lot of people like Friday night football. There's a lot of things that we want to do in the next, starting in a month from now. What we do in the next several weeks is going to determine what kind of fall we have and, frankly, what kind of winter we have. This thing could get away from us. It is moving in that direction. It's going in the wrong direction, and we've got to, you know, just say, look, we're not going to tolerate this anymore, and everybody's going to need to, you know, wear that mask when you're out in public. You know, look, somebody may not be able to wear a mask for medical reasons. That's fine. But the vast majority of us need to be wearing masks if we're going into a business, because that mask protects the other person. And you go into a grocery store today, everybody's got a mask on that works there. We owe that to the people who work there and who see the public 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. We owe them that. And if we all do that, as you just quoted, we will be able to make a huge, huge difference. And we won't get to these issues. Do we have to shut the state down again? You know, that would be absolutely devastating if we had to do that. We can control that, and if we do what we need to do, we will not have to do that.
Governor, in the early weeks of this pandemic, Ohio, I think it's fair to say, was seen as a national leader. You acted quickly, you acted strongly, you were praised nationally roundly for your actions at that time, and Ohioans, I think it's safe to say, felt safe and proud at that time. Now here we are, mid-July, and in your own words last night, Ohio is slipping. Governor, what happened? How did we go from where we were to where we are now?
Well, we started back. We opened businesses, and I think too many people heard the state is back open again to mean we do not have a problem. Now, that's not what I said, and that's not what we intended to tell people, but I think too many people heard that. They basically felt that if they could do something, they should do something. And there was no problem connected with that. And my message last night was personal responsibility. Ultimately, government can't totally control what you do 24 hours a day, and Lord knows the government should not do that. It comes down to personal responsibility. And we're just asking everyone, we may have to issue orders, you know, next week, next few days, but really, it's the most important thing is not what I say or not the orders I issue or your local health department, what they issue or the mayor issues. It's what people do in their individual lives every single day. You know, you've got people working, for example, we have very good rules and regulations for business. Most businesses are doing a very, very good job in following that distance rule, following the wearing of masks. But when people go out and in their personal life, and they do what we all love to do, and that is have a party and be with other people. I think what they've forgotten is the unique nature of this coronavirus, which is that so many people are out there who don't show any symptoms, don't know they have anything. You know, they don't know they have the virus. You know, very few people in Ohio are going to intentionally go out if they've got the virus and potentially infect someone else. People aren't going to do that. The problem is they don't know it, and they don't know they have it, and they don't have symptoms. Particularly young people may not show symptoms, or it may be very, very mild. They don't pay any attention to it, but they can infect their mother, their father, their grandparents, and that could be deadly
Governor,
for them. So,
not to cut you off, but I want to be able to ask you one more question here. The number of cases expectedly went up when the state reopened, and you have said even tonight again that we can do both. We can reopen safely and live with the virus, but you're essentially telling us we aren't doing it well enough. So what do you expect Ohioans to do, and can you expect this to actually happen without any actual orders in place?
well, we're seeing some real progress. For example, in Hamilton County, more and more people are wearing masks after we put them on the as a red county 2 weeks ago. So yes, people can do better. What do I ask people to do? wear a mask when you go out in public. Keep a distance, at least 6 feet. Think before you do something. You know, is it really worth it to have a play date with your kids, to go out and they play with the neighbors' kids and friends? If one of those kids comes back and somebody gets infected, you know, we have a lot at stake. We have our kids at stake, we have our families at stake, we have our friends at stake, we have our future at stake. So what I'm asking people to do is make sacrifices now so that we can have a future. My goal for everybody in the Miami Valley and everybody in the state of Ohio is to get through this alive. You know, this virus will end. It will eventually end. There will be a future. The sun will be out. We want to all be there when opening day occurs next year in Cincinnati, and we can go see the Dragons play in Dayton, and we can go see Ohio State football. We all want to be alive when that happens, and we've got to be careful. And that's what I'm asking people to do. Wear a mask, keep the distance, wash their hands, and just use good common sense about what we do.
Mike, you and I certainly agree on that. We are ready for some baseball. Mike DeWine wrapping up another long day at his home there in Cedarville. Governor, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this tonight.
You bet. Thank you.